Hello and welcome to the first episode of Nets Common Sense. My goal with this platform is to create a environment for Nets fans, bring to the table something that I feel that is missing. Rather than me just shoving my opinions in everybody's faces, I would like to create an environment where people can comment and feel like they can engage in a community as a Nets fan. And I'm not saying I'm the only one doing this. Of course, there's a couple of very good streamers and content creators for the Brooklyn Nets, famously known Anthony Puccio, and then we have the Brooklyn Boys, which I tend to tune in. We have the Brooklyn Pod, which I feel like do a very good job as independent creators for the Brooklyn Nets fans, and as well as famously Eric Slater of Locked on Nets, which I rarely miss an episode of him, especially in the days now, off-season days. I try not to miss anything important. I am a loyal Brooklyn Nets fan. I like to say I have an obsession, and that is the Brooklyn Nets. So I'm very in tune in every little detail, every little affair perhaps that might be going around with the Brooklyn Nets. And besides from creating this community over here, hopefully that's going to be a fun environment for Brooklyn Nets fans. I always tell my beautiful, gorgeous wife that if I could have 100 people that consistently listen to my opinions about the Brooklyn Nets and engage with me. The point is that if I could have 100 loyal Nets fans that I could engage with on a daily basis, then I'd be very happy. So I hope that I'm going to do a good job. This is enough for the introduction. And for now, let's dive right in to the topic of today. As I was listening into one of the Brooklyn Nets content creators and a little bit on X, I see there's a lot of, in my opinion, uncalled for or undeserved way of approach of certain Nets fans towards Sean Marks. Now, I gotta come clean. I gotta be honest with you. I have been a Nets fan since 2014. I've been watching the Brooklyn Nets since the year that Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Joe Johnson, Darren Williams, and Brook Lopez went to the playoffs, and they by 1 point beat the Toronto Raptors by a miracle in 7 games, and then they lost to the Miami Heat, which the Miami Heat ultimately went on to go to the finals that year. From my perspective, Sean Marks has brought something to the Brooklyn Nets that the Brooklyn Nets have not had before, and that was a stable front man for the entire organization. I think of Sean Marks as a very smart person. Rather than his smarts, I believe that Sean Marks has brought a certain stability to this franchise through the ups, through the downs, that this franchise hasn't seen before. Me remembering the Billy King times, I don't want to shit on Billy King now, but absolutely was an absolute nightmare when Billy King was in charge of this franchise, and he was under pressure, blah blah blah. The bottom line is Sean Marks doesn't operate like that. Sean Marks is an independent thinker. He has a system of how he thinks, of how he operates, as well as we gotta remember, when he came in, he had no picks. He brought in undrafted guys, acquired D'Angelo Russell through the Brook Lopez trade. He made some smart moves. He brought the Nets back to relevancy, had that amazing run that got us into the playoffs, and then somehow managed to get 2 of the best players in the NBA with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant to come to Barclays Center, to the Brooklyn Nets, to commit to come win a championship with the Brooklyn Nets. Obviously, it didn't work out that way. But to take the Brooklyn Nets from the state that they were in when Sean Marks took it over to where he got it to when Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving wanted to come in my opinion, that shows enough of the man and the stability that he brings to the table. Now, obviously, Sean has made many mistakes and kind of learned on the job, but at this point, as we're going to further examine a little bit of the moves that he has done that has gotten us to this point that we are right now in. I think ultimately asking for Sean Marks firing is absolutely bogus. It makes no sense. You do not want the best for the Brooklyn Nets franchise, or you just impulsively, outrageously, in the heat of the moment, angry and you want to call for Sean Marks' head. It makes no sense. I get it. I get the dire need to get back to relevancy. I get that it absolutely sucks watching the New York Knicks winning a championship. It's detrimental to the Brooklyn Nets franchise that the New York Knicks would not have won a championship, but absolutely they did win. And now the Nets' claim for relevancy in New York is going to be much harder, and they're going to have to actually prove that they can win. Now, a nice couple of mistakes along with unlimited misfortune. Sean Marks hasn't quite been able to succeed in a meaningful way in Brooklyn so far. Nevertheless, has brought a stable leader to Barclays Center, one of the kinds that is very hard to find in the NBA. So when somebody comes on air or goes on YouTube and says fire Sean Marks, I hear what you're saying, but when you're going to say that, please come with an option. Make a recommendation so I can evaluate if that person that you are recommending perhaps might be better for the Brooklyn Nets. Because Sean Marks I see as one of those great basketball minds and stable minds and leaders that are going to get a job. This archetype will get a job in the NBA in a split second somewhere else. The Sacramento Kings would love to get somebody like Sean Marks, or maybe any other franchise that is lacking in leadership at the top right now. I'm not sure, so I have to look into it. However, I would not give away Sean Marks. I would not let a stable, smart leader like him go before I have a clear-cut, better option. I just want to make that point now. Now, diving in a little bit further into this episode, as I call this episode, Sean, what's the plan? A lot of people are confused with Sean Marks' plan. So, let's dive into this. Before you call for Sean Marks' head, before you say Sean Marks doesn't know anything about basketball, I heard one guy say he doesn't know anything about basketball, he doesn't know how to evaluate talent. I have to, as a Brooklyn Nets fan, for the last 20 years, for the last 12 years, how are you going to call for the head of Sean Marks after you see yourself with a Jaeger Dioman and a Michael Brown Jr. on the roster? The Brooklyn Nets had bad luck this last year in the draft and the year before. Both years we could have gotten a better pick than the 8th and the 6th. Nevertheless, Sean Marks picked Jaeger Dioman. We can see the vision 2-3 years down the road, the Jaeger Dioman shooting lights out with his 6'8" height and wingspan, with his court vision and passing ability. If he puts up muscle and becomes stronger and learns better how to play through contact and how to drive, I can see the vision with him. I can see the vision with Michael Brown Jr. What if in 5 years down the road, Michael Brown Jr. and Jaeger Dioman are the best tandem in the NBA? Because it definitely has the potential for that. When was the last time the Brooklyn Nets had picked back-to-back years a top 10 pick, a lottery pick, number 8 and number 6? And all those guys that are absolutely killing the Brooklyn Nets for picking Michael Brown Jr. over Darius Acuff, you watch and see. We've had enough with Cam Thomas. I'm not calling Darius Acuff Cam Thomas. You can't compare. You have Michael Brown Jr. with the potential, with that body, with that type of tenacious play on defense. I definitely see the vision with these two youngsters running the backcourt. Now, acquiring Julius Randle for Nick Claxton, I think it was about time for Day'Ron Sharpe to get some run at starting center. And I'm sorry if I come off a little bit rude, but Nick Claxton, good riddance. Honestly, I love you, bud, but you did not do much for us, ever. And it always felt like with your body, with your type, with your potential, you could have done more. And we always felt like there was times where you were just absolutely sleeping. But regardless, thank you for your service for those years that you were here. It felt like you were always a little bit too soft when it was time to be hard, and then always a little bit too hard when it was time to be softer. I don't know. I wish you all the best of luck in Chicago. As a Nets fan, I'm excited to see Daron Sharp. I went last year to the Barclays Center. It happens to be he started against the Denver Nuggets, and happens to be we won that game. And Daron had a phenomenal game. Daron and MPJ just went off. And it was one of the games that we won last year, which is not a good thing. But I think there's a lot of excitement about having Daron Sharp starting next year. I'm very excited about having Julius Randle at power forward. I would not have him move off power forward. At the 4, I'm absolutely excited. However ironic it may sound, because in 2019 when the Brooklyn Nets got the 2 big fishes in Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, the New York Knicks, nevertheless, their big star was Julius Randle. So however ironic that might be, the point is, I'm absolutely excited about having a guy like Julius Randle at the age of 31 years old, which is just hitting his prime now. At the 4, for these youngsters at the Brooklyn Nets, this is going to be phenomenal. He's a hard worker, strong man, very talented with the ball in his hands, good rebounder. He's going to have a great opportunity here to get a lot of run here in the Brooklyn Nets. I am absolutely excited to have Julius Randle in the 4. And it was a very nice kind of way Sean Marks wiggled his way through getting somebody like Julius Randle on this Brooklyn Nets roster, and a veteran with the absolute package that the Brooklyn Nets need right now to raise the ceiling on this team, rather raise the floor on this team. It was very smart the way he got rid of Nick Claxton and brought in Julius Randle, and then was also able to land a guy like Joshua Jefferson, which is also something I would like to get into. I don't know if we'll be able to get into it in this episode. I want to keep this episode nice and short as episode 1, as a welcoming. I want you guys to get a vibe and a feel of the first episode. Guys, please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the algorithm. Right now, please hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it if you like this content. And if you are from the first 100 subscribers of this channel, you are going into a raffle for a chance to win a $100 Visa gift card. Thank you. Even if you're not doing it for the Visa gift card, do it for appreciation for us, for me bringing you content. Thank you very much. So, going back to what I was saying, I'm excited about having Julius Randle at the 4. Now moving on to the 3, Michael Porter Jr. I don't have to tell you guys, every Brooklyn Nets fan is absolutely excited about having Michael Porter Jr. at the 3. Michael Porter Jr. is coming off the best season of his career, by far the best season of his career. And we are excited about his shooting ability, about his off-ball ability, about coming off screens and shooting that thing. And the overall scoring ability is just tremendous. The upside is tremendous in a year where we're not going to tank, and he's going to have all the opportunity to just go off in a meaningful way where we're going to compete for every game. I am as much excited about as any guy on this team is about Michael Porter Jr. at the 3. I'm excited. So guys, I've covered center, I've covered the 4, I've covered the 3. Now, I don't have to tell you guys how excited I am about having Jaeger Diamond on his 2nd year at shooting guard. His ability to see the floor, to pass the ball, his ability to cut off the ball, his ability to shoot it, his ability to defend, and overall just more coming into his own at the shooting guard spot. I'm very, very excited about Jaeger Diamond. And as well, obviously, the most exciting is Michael Brown Jr. That youngster is going to take us to the promised land. That's the plan. That's the hope. He has the talent. He has the mindset. He's going to have every single opportunity here in Brooklyn to just go out there and go get it. For a guy like Sean Marks, I see the vision. Now, having covered all of these 5 guys, I absolutely would not move anybody out of the starting lineup unless it's somebody that I'm really excited about. Somebody I'm really excited about, let's say a superstar, or somebody like Trey Murphy from New Orleans. He's long, he's athletic, he can defend, he's a lights out professional volume shooter. He cuts, he finishes, he dunks, the full package. But obviously the most exciting thing about him is his length and his shooting. his volume shooting, I should add. And there's a couple of other guys that would excite me. I want to make it clear, not the Domantas Sabonis. Not the Domantas Sabonis. I do not see the vision right now with the way our roster is constructed. I do not see the future and the vision for the Domantas Sabonis. But I feel like maybe Peyton Watson, somebody we can offer a nice contract. Maybe acquire Atari Eason through restricted free agency. There's a couple. Oh, the guy from OKC, Cason Wallace. Again, like I was saying, a Trey Murphy or Cason Wallace. Cason Wallace brings a tremendous defense to the table, and perhaps I would take out somebody from the starting lineup for Cason Wallace. But again, that would stun the development for Michael Brown Jr. or if that would stun the development for Jaeger Dioman, then I'm not interested. My future is my future. And last year, every single time big trades came up, can we trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo? Can we trade for this guy, for that guy? Every single time, I would say, Sean, we've been down that road. Now it's time to develop. And now that we finally have these guys in the room, we have these guys in the building, I would do nothing, absolutely nothing to mess it up. I would play the same chess game Sean Marks is playing right now. And it's exciting with all the future assets we have, because we could still, with all the guys we have now, we could still go out and get a superstar, because we have so many draft picks. And that's the number one capital to go get a star nowadays, is draft picks. So, wrapping up this episode, my point of this episode was Sean Marks, to bring some clarity about how valuable he is for the Nets franchise. And a little bit of what his plan is. And his plan is obviously to develop the future, roll out this starting lineup of a young backcourt, of a young star backcourt, with the tough big veterans more at the top of the lineup, with Julius Randle and Darren Sharp and Michael Porter Jr. to carry the load and to be there in tough moments, and to have an open space for a guy like Jaeger Dioman and Michael Brown Jr. to develop and reach the potential that they have, which is immaculate. I have endless amounts of dreams for Michael Brown Jr. and Jaeger Dioman together. They're going to do great things together. This is the mindset of Sean Marks. Now, having said all that, and obviously over the coming days I'm going to spend a lot of time going into the moves that Sean Marks made with Keon Ellis, with Moritz Wagner, with the picks he picked last year, and Ben Sarv. I'm very excited about a guy like Noah Clowney. I want to dive into a guy like Noah Clowney, because on the other day on another podcast I heard somebody saying Noah Clowney does not know how to play basketball. Okay, I would like to go into that one. As I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I'm extremely excited about Joshua Jefferson. There's so much to like about him. There's so much to develop about him, to be excited about his development. Again, a guy like Drake Powell with his defense. I want to talk about him and his potential and how his offense can improve. I want to talk about a guy like Josh Minot, and so on and so forth. The roster is deep. And I don't know if I mentioned a guy like Danny Wolf. Danny Wolf deserves an episode for himself. I believe if the Brooklyn Nets take the proper care and coaching to dedicate to Danny Wolf, I think he has insane potential to be in this league and to make a very big impact, not on the bench, but as a starter in this league. And I am excited about these prospects. I'm excited about the prospects of a Danny Wolf, of a Ben Sarv, even though a lot of fans have already decided to throw in the towel on a young guy like Ben Sarv because he had a hard first season in the NBA. A 6'6", a tall guy with, you see the ability with the ball handles, with the finishing, with the shooting. If he's a guy that can work out even 50-60% of what his potential is, this guy is going to be in the league for a long time, for 10-12 years. So I would stick to the course of Sean Marks, of finding out what we have in-house and what these guys can bring to the table and what they can develop. And I'm very excited about those prospects alongside MPJ and Julius Randle. And before I wrap up this episode, I want to bring out a point that the Brooklyn Nets are in a very, very interesting spot right now, because having more or less complete their roster for the upcoming year, the Brooklyn Nets have still a roughly $25 million open in their cap space available. Now, $25 million is not money that you want to lose in cap space, so they are going to spend it. So now we have somewhat of a picture of what Sean Marks wants to do with this roster. We have a very bright future to look forward to, and we have $25 million on the table, open, with an open free agency. And the clock is ticking, tick, tock, tick, tock. What's Sean Marks going to do next? What's Sean Marks' big move going to be to kind of finish off this offseason? Where is he going to put this $25 million? How long is the contract going to be? How is he going to utilize it? In a future episode, I'm going to get into the potentials of where that money could go and how Sean Marks could look at this $25 million cap space kind of as a bridge carrying him through till 2 years from now, where there's going to be an open free agency and a ton of money for the Nets available. There's a lot of interesting lanes and a lot of different pathways for the Brooklyn Nets to take, and in my opinion, a very, very exciting prospect to look forward to. Now we're all waiting to see what's Sean Marks going to do next. What's his move going to be? What's he going to do with the $25 million? And how is he going to kind of put that cherry on the top on a very interesting offseason in a kind of a pivotal moment where the Nets are trying to switch from tanking to competing. I thank you so much for listening to episode 1 of Nets Common Sense. Please like and subscribe. Don't be shy to drop a comment, and I will definitely take time to reply to your comments. And I look forward to engaging in future episodes again. Thank you.